What's going on, guys? My name is Brandon. Welcome back. For my regular viewers, you'll know that about a year ago I started a quad rebuild and it's been on the back burner ever since. Well, now we're going to get back into it. I'm really excited to get back into this project, guys. If you haven't seen the other episodes, go ahead and click on those. I'll put a link to the playlist up above. But this four-wheeler is going to be for my grandson, and this has been in the family for years. I've had this since my kids were little. Couldn't get this one with the little 1/4 inch in back, so I had to get out the 1/2 inch. No problem for that one. Even the tires are original to this. Now, this has actually been setting for the last approximately 12 years. It has not been started. So the gas that had been in it was 12 years old. The oil, it has not moved. It's just set covered in the garage. So these rear brake pads just fell out over here. So they were completely broken in half. So it's a good thing we took this apart. So the rear brake pads actually mount onto this. And you can actually see that the adhesive that actually holds the pads on has just come apart. So that would have been like that, and this one actually was broken in half. So we'll have to just pick up some new brakes for the back. Not a big deal. A lot of you guys have been asking about VIN numbers, where to find them. They're stamped vertically along the right side of the frame, right by where the fill plug is. Here's the plan. I'm going to leave the motor in it, and I'm going to just work on this, sand it down, paint the frame, mask off the motor, mask off any of these other little trinkets, and paint it. Because I really don't want to get involved in a frame up restoration of this, because it's really not overly that bad. The bearings are good in it, the front end, the kingpins are good in it. I've got new tie rods coming. The worst part of the four-wheeler is this part right up in here. It's kind of like the front end part. Just got a light surface rust. So, and then obviously paint, the hubs, these, clean everything up, the brake hub, paint this black, paint these silver. So I'm gonna do the best I can with what I got here. And on this stuff like this, where it's got a little bit of surface rust, I'll probably use like a rust reform or something like that. Now, originally I was going to go send everything off to Sandblast and have everything powder coated, and I actually had that lined up in somebody to sponsor this. Well, as I thought about it, that didn't really seem realistic. It didn't have an authentic feel to it. I'm trying to create content here that's similar to what you guys would do. Maybe you'd pick something up like this on Marketplace or Craigslist, and you want to fix it up for your son or daughter or your significant other or your grandchild or whatever. So I'm trying to keep this build realistic to that. Alright, let's get this carburetor out of here and give us a little more room to paint stuff black. Plus, we're going to need to clean it anyways. This thing has been sitting for so long. It's going to need a good cleaning. Use my JIS screwdriver to get it. Yeah, and we'll clean this thing up. Pretty cruddy. It's got no ring there. That's kind of neat. So that's why I decided to take this build in the direction that I'm taking it. We're going to be doing this with readily available stuff over the counter. It's not going to be a super expensive build. It's going to be a budget build. This is a classic four-wheeler. Some of the parts are hard to find, and they are quite expensive. So when you find things that you do need for this, it is going to get kind of pricey. So we're going to try to spend our money wisely. We're going to try to make it look good, make it look presentable using over-the-counter stuff, and then replace the things that really matter that could be somewhat expensive. So check this out, guys. I kind of went over this a little bit just with a regular wire brush, and same thing here. I kind of did the same thing along here, but yeah, so that gives me hope that this is going to clean up good. But because I need to kind of keep flipping this back and forth, and I'm kind of like moving around, the next thing I want to do is I want to get off these pegs. And I also ordered new rubbers. Not that these are bad, but the new ones will just be more pliable, and I think it'll look better. And I ordered a new rubber there, so I want to take off this and this. I'm going to drain the oil out of it just because flipping it back and forth, I just don't want oil getting everywhere. But when I flipped it up, look what I noticed. Oh, look what I noticed. It's actually missing set of bolt holes right here. So we'll have to get a couple bolts for that, match it up, and get a set.
Now, just like everything else on this four-wheeler, this oil has been sitting inside this crankcase for the last 12 years.
She's a little dark.
My kids love this four-wheeler. Now, they're all grown and they got lives of their own, and one of them actually has a kid of their own, so that's who I'm fixing this up for, my grandson.
I'm going to go run to the store and see if I can find hopefully maybe like a grade 8 bolt for this size, and I'm going to pick up a couple more of these, because this one here looks like somebody lost it and they used just a metric bolt with a flat washer. So I can find one of these bolts, I'd rather use that.
So now that I've gone over everything with some red Scotch Brite, now I'm just going back over everything with a hand wire brush, just trying to scrape everything down, get all the loose stuff, get the bulk of it out. I also use a wire wheel on the end of a drill, as you can see here, and I have like another little type brush attachment that also goes on the drill. Keeping it budget-minded, just going over everything, trying to get the bulk of the stuff. I do have a handheld sandblaster. It's fairly cheap, and I know that they sell them at Harbor Freight. They're not a lot of money. So I think what I'm going to do as far as the motor, you can see all those little fins there. I'm going to probably use that and probably blow like some walnut chips or something that isn't overly abrasive and aggressive, just to help get inside those fins, and then we'll probably paint those fins with like a header paint, black heat-resistant coating.
Guys, things are starting to happen. If you haven't seen the other episodes, I redid this gas tank, okay? So this had a lot of rust and stuff in it, and I've actually cleaned out this gas tank. This was done about a year ago. So the inside of that gas tank is perfect. A company at that time sent me a product, Metal Rescue, to clean out the inside of this tank. Well, when they sent that, they also sent this. It's a rust remover gel. So what I'm going to do is I never use this gel, so I'm going to use this gel on all the spots on the frame that you can actually see rust on it, because I want to get rid of it. If I can get rid of the rust, and it's just surface, it's almost just like a surface oxidization, so it's not going to take a lot. And then I just picked up some rattle can stuff. Then we'll paint the frame or the chassis of it with this roll bar and chassis paint. For the exhaust, when we get to that, we'll probably spray it down with this, and for all the silver stuff we're going to use this. So I've read on some forums that this paint is pretty close. This is what's called Silver Cloud, and supposedly this duplicolor wheel coating is fairly close. So we'll give it a try and we'll see how it works. What we're going to do is part of next week's episode, I'm going to coat this tank. So now that I got it nice and clean inside, I'm going to use this red coat stuff. I've used this before. This stuff is awesome. The plastic, you can get a plastic replacement tank. They're about $100, $90 or $100. So I like that I get to keep this. So I've never used this product before, but what I do really like about using stuff like this is that it's not super caustic. It's biodegradable, contains no VOCs, solvents, or hazardous ingredients. So in other words, you can just dump this down your drain. All they say is just wear gloves when you're doing this. So remove all the grease, loose dirt, blah, blah, blah. We've done that. Use gloves, put on 1/8-inch layers of gel, and then when you get the gel on, wrap it. So we're just going to use like a cling wrap and leave it on for 30 to 90 minutes for light rust. We'll try that, because this is light. This isn't like scaly shale or anything. And then rinse or wipe off the gel completely. The results will be bare metal. For light rust, 30 to 90 minutes. For heavy rust, 12 to 24 hours. The reason it being gel is so that you can use it on vertical surfaces. I know you're not supposed to do this, but it's kind of got a nice clean smell. It smells like laundry detergent, like fresh laundry. Real soft, not very fragrant.
I'll put all the products that I'm using down in the description as we go, and when we're all said and done, I'll add it up and we'll see how much we have invested total in this budget build.
You know, guys, I kind of changed the direction on this build a little bit, just because, you know, I got thinking, we all have busy lives, you know what I mean? So I'm trying to do a build here, and that's what a lot of my stuff on my channel is featured around, is stuff that you guys, you know, just the normal folk may come across, you know? People with a busy life, a job, you got commitments, kids maybe, wife, and, you know, you don't have all kinds of extra money to shell out to pay somebody to do stuff for you, and you don't have a year to build this really nice, super incredible, expensive rebuild. So this is something that you could do. This is realistic. I don't want to spend all my time working on this. I want to get this done so my grandson can use it. It'll be reliable. It'll look really presentable. You know, it might not be 100% the best way of doing it. I want to kind of get it done as a DIY, you know, home workshop. You're working on your garage. You can even get your kid involved in this. You know, have them help you with it. My grandson comes down and tinkers with it. He loves it. I hope, you know, as people aren't going to be overly critical because of the way I'm doing this and using a rust converter and or this gel stuff. You know, I'm trying to do it in a budget-friendly way of doing it to end up with a decent result when it's all said and done. That it'll look good and it'll be reliable, and my grandson will have a lot of fun on it. That's what it's all about, right, guys? Take it out on the weekends, have fun. You know, enjoy yourself. We'll have some other doodads we got to cover too, but I've got the foot, like the footrest. Those went. Remember those pieces that went right here? So I got those covered there, and I've just kind of gone around and just covered it up here and there where I did it. So we'll give it about 90 minutes, and we'll come back. And we'll see about getting this off. Since you can wipe it or rinse it, I'm going to try to rinse it. I'd like to flush off as much as I can and not keep it on. It's been about 90 minutes since I put that on, and what I did was I rinsed it all off, and you can see how it has brought it down to bare metal in a lot of the places. If I left it on longer, it would probably do better. But what I think I'm going to do now is I'll probably end up scuffing this up, rinsing it one more time, and then what I'll probably do is come back and just do a rust converter on it. Just dust a coat of light coat of rust converter on it, and then we'll prime it. Then we'll paint it. We'll be in good shape. These guards, I'm going to leave these on for like 12 hours to see how that does. Then we'll come back 12 hours later and see how they look and see if it makes a difference and see how it does. Over here, I'm lining the gas tank for this, but that'll be in next week's episode. All right, so we're about 18 hours later, and I don't really see a huge difference between leaving it for, 90 minutes or leaving it for 18 hours. So you can see it looks like it did a very similar job on the frame. You can see some bare spots where it brought it down. So this is the plan. I know I said I wasn't going to take the motor out of it, and I said some other stuff, but this is what I'm going to do. So I can get a good job. It looks like there's only, very few bolts that hold the motor in. And so that I can do a good job detailing the motor and detailing the frame, I'm just going to pull the motor out. I'm going to pull it out, set it aside, and then I can detail the frame, then detail the motor. As far as the rust spots go in the bare metal, I'm going to put on some rust converter, just spot spray it, like along the frame area, up in here. Do these with just a regular rust converter, nothing fancy. I'm going to try using this product from Duplicolor. And once I've spot touched up everything with that rust converter, I'll go through and hit everything with a coat of primer, and then we'll do a top coat. And then we can start assembly. Here we go. It says to put on a couple light coats of this and wait no more than 2 minutes in between coats. So I'm just going to dust on a nice thin coat everywhere and wherever there's exposed rust, and then we'll be able to, it says we can top coat with primer in 24 hours.
So then I just put 2 light coats of this rust stop. It's a rust converter. It just makes the rust inert so that it doesn't continue on. And then it says you can paint right over it, but I'm going to end up just scuffing it, and then we'll prime it and then paint it.
I feel like I'm getting buried alive down here in the workshop. So I just went and picked up a storage rack to help me organize a little bit.
I started running out of room in my workshop, and some of the parts were starting to collect on my workbench. So I went and picked up this storage rack, so that way I can keep all my parts and pieces organized. I can keep the parts on a shelf that I need to clean, and then the ones that have been cleaned on a different shelf. It should make things a lot easier.
Not a bad unit for the price. It's made by Plano, so the same people that make the toolboxes, and their stuff's good, but there was a time that manufacturers actually cared about the products that they were producing and the fit and finish, and you can see how this is just stuff left over from the casting process. Just it's just a poor thing. Quality is you know, as everyone probably sees over the years, quality is definitely decreasing in things that you buy, you know. Things cost more and the quality of the product is less, and that seems to be the case with a lot of things in life, including these shelves. The fit and finish just, you know, isn't that great, but it's a quality looking unit. It's just kind of too bad that, you know, they couldn't just finish it when they had it, you know what I mean? Just do it right the first time. And plus it's busted. You know, that's all broken out too, so yeah, just kind of low quality for what it is, you know. In case you were wondering on the specs, overall it'll hold 750 pounds or 340.2 kilograms, or 150 pounds per shelf, 68 kilograms. So it'll hold everything we need to do. I'm going to use it to organize these motorcycle and quad parts and whatever else I can put on it. I had to take off the top shelf just because I wanted to slide it up underneath my unit heater, but yeah, that's going to work out really nice. I've actually disconnected the wiring, and now we're going to get the motor out of it. I know I said earlier I wasn't going to do that, but I am going to do that.
Projects like these are easy to get in over your head. You have good intentions and you want to do a real good job, but sometimes you got to know where to draw the line. And pulling the motor out of this seemed manageable. It didn't seem to take it to the next level, so that's why I decided to pull it out. It'll give a better job in the end.
There, look at that. Now we can get to it real good.
I've had many projects over the years where I had the best of intentions and took things a little too far, stripped things down a little too much, and never got them back together. My hopes and dreams was more time and money than I had available. So when you take on projects like this, you just have to be mindful of that and not bite off more than you can chew.
Continuing doing what I've been doing here. That's cleaning, then scuffing and sanding down pieces and parts, and moving on. So there's a skid plate there. This is the sides to the air breather. Those up there you saw earlier. Another skid plate, chain guard. That is the brake hub guard, which covers over that. So yeah, I've just been banging out stuff. I'm doing all the parts right now that are going to be black. So that's kind of what my focus has been, and I pretty much, I think, have all the black pieces finished up. And that's all there is to it. So be sure to tune in next week, guys, where we are going to line that gas tank. Then we can start priming, painting, and assembly and get this thing back together. And then we can start working on fabricating some custom parts. This is going to be a real fun project. I want to thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for tuning in. If this is something that you like, don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. If you're wondering what I'm working on before it even makes it up to YouTube, you guys can catch me on Facebook and on Instagram. I'll have the links down below. Until next Friday, guys, I will see you then. Take care. Stay safe. See ya.